Hi everyone, we're going to talk about proportional relationships here with proportional graphs to answer a few of these questions. So this is an airplane that's traveling in miles as shown in the graph, and the question is asking how far it can travel in 1 hour. So that's what we call the unit rate. If it's per one thing, 1 hour in this case, that is a unit rate because a unit of 1 makes it a unit rate. So we're going to look at our two examples here. We've actually got two different coordinates. We can use either one to help us. The first coordinate here says for 3 hours, the plane can travel 1,425 miles. Or we could use this one that says in 5 hours, the plane can travel 2,375 miles. So either one we can use to find the unit rate. It actually doesn't matter. Just pick one. I'm going to pick the one with smaller numbers just because for me that's a little bit easier. So to figure out how much in 1 hour, I'll make a little proportion here. So 1,425 miles in 3 hours, that's a rate as a fraction. And we're looking for 1 hour. So that's going to go on the bottom because hours and hours are both in the same part of the fraction, both in the denominator. And we're looking for how many miles, so x miles. Now to solve this proportion, we can just kind of essentially scale down. 3 down to 1 would be dividing by 3. So we just take this 1,425, divide that by 3, and we'll get the unit rate. We'll get the number of hours, the number of miles in 1 hour. When you do that division, you get 475. So what that means is our unit rate is 475 miles in 1 hour. And that answers our question. For the next part here, you could also figure out a different rate. So it says 31 hours, which is obviously not on this graph. This graph goes from 0 to 11 hours. So 31 would be way out here somewhere. So it's not going to be on the graph, but we're going to, again, use what our rates on the graph to help us figure out the rate that we're looking for. We can use either one, this one or that one, doesn't matter. Let's use the second one this time just for fun. So 452 means in 4 hours, Jeff can write 52 pages. So I'm going to make that into a little fraction to make a proportion. You can make it either way, 4 hours over 52 pages or vice versa. You can flip this fraction and it would still work as long as the other side matches. So hours over pages must match with hours over pages. So we're looking for 31 hours and we don't know how many pages. So now we're going to find a scale factor from 4 to 31, and we're going to use that scale factor on 52 to find the number of pages. To find a scale factor, we do the new one divided by the old one. So the one that we're pointing at is always the new one. So 31 divided by 4 will be our scale factor. So we just can type that in, 31 divided by 4 gives us our scale factor of 7.75. Now, if you get a crazy decimal for your scale factor, that is okay. Just leave it on your calculator and then just do times the other number we're looking for. So this is 52 times that equals x. So you can just keep it on your calculator and hit the times button, 52, and you'll get x, which is 403 pages, which should make sense because Jeff's going to be able to write more pages if he has more hours, right? If this number was smaller than 52, that wouldn't make any sense. Okay, moving on to the last example here we've got vases and weeks. So we're trying to figure out an equation that relates V to the number of weeks W. So what we're really looking for here is a unit rate first. So let's use either one of these and find the unit rate. How about this one again? So let's use 105 vases in 5 weeks. That would be the same as how many in 1 week. So x vases in 1 week. So 5 down to 1 is dividing by 5. 100 down to x is dividing by 5 as well. So you'll notice here I'm using division, whereas before I used multiplication. As long as you're consistent and you're going the same direction, left to right, like this, left to right, doing the same thing, you are good. And I use division this way, dividing. So either way, multiplication or division, you could also use 1/5 if that's easier, times 1/5, or you could do 0.2. These are all the same thing. As long as you're consistent with your directions and what you're doing, you'll be fine to solve it using either method. So I'm going to do 105 divided by 5. and that will give me the number of vases. Well, I know 100 divided by 5 is 20, so 105 divided by 5 has to be 21. So Rebecca can make 21 vases per week. It doesn't actually answer the question yet, though. This is just the unit rate. So if we're trying to make an equation, how many vases can she do for W weeks? Well, she can do 21 per week. So per tells us we're going to do multiplying. So 21 times the number of weeks. So if I use W for the number of weeks and V for the number of vases, the number of vases would be 21 times the number of weeks. And you want to always double check and make sure you do this correctly. Go back and check one of your points. Let's check this one. So are the vases that we can make 21 times the weeks? So 21 times 4 weeks, does that equal 84 vases? And it does. So that kind of checks our work. We made the equation correct.